I wanted to talk to Mickey Acorn since I started this podcast. I've always loved his enthusiasm for writing and performing, and he's so frickin' funny. From our early days acting in plays at UPEI to following his online antics from the other side of the world, we talked about comedy, songwriting, and being a musician in Japan, and the meaning of life.
You don't know what to do, and you don't know what to say. Forget all that. Start anyway. Spark that fire and build it high, and watch it burn. Then let it die.
Hello?
Hello?
Mickey?
Yes, it worked.
Hi! Hey, thanks so much for doing this. You've been on the list for this for a while, and I'm glad you
Oh, that's awesome. Well, I feel very proud to be among the names on that I saw. So that's pretty cool. Yeah. That's got to be something. Yeah, I'll have to interview you about that later.
Totally.
Yeah.
So we first met in the late 90s when we did some theater together, and I think we were both UPEI students then.
Yes.
I
Yeah,
certainly
that's
was.
right. Yeah. So I was trying to remember. Were you in Midsummer Night's Dream?
No, but I did work
So
on
y-
that. I was in the backstage for that one.
Okay. So that was my thing. Was like, good night, good night, Desdemona.
Yeah, that was when I was in. Yeah.
Yeah. So I was trying to think like what, but yeah, I was like, no, she was around for everything, I think, yeah.
Yeah.
At least my whole theater experience at UPI, I think you were there. Yeah.
Yeah. Well, I think you directed me in that play about Maurice Duplessis. I think you directed that, right?
Oh my God. Oh my God, I can't. Oh, yeah, I can't remember now. Yeah, I can't remember. But that's like you just unlocked a memory there with the Maurice Duplessis.
And you know what I forgot until right now was that
Oh my God.
it was a musical, right? Oh,
Oh my God, I
okay.
forgot all, but I don't think I directed that though.
Okay, maybe you were just in it, or
Yeah, but that, yeah.
oh, Ryan Pollard, I think directed that. Am I right? Maybe
I can't.
we're going
Yeah,
way back. Too far is too far back.
yeah.
Anyway, what I remember about meeting you back then was that, like, this guy is a real performer. Like, you were so comfortable on stages and acting and singing in front of people. It seemed to really energize you.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah. Funny enough, how that relates to like the very shy people in my life, like how like how we, loud people and shy people, balance, that can
Totally.
happen. Yeah.
Yeah. So I'm kind of thinking that you were probably a little kid who was wanting to perform for people at a young age. Is that true?
Yeah, like I had my moonwalk phase, like, "Oh, I think you
Y-
did the moonwalk," kind of thing. But my my thing was more that nothing, like you look at they call it ADHD, right? But when you when
Right.
when you look back, at it, you just kinda think, well, yeah, like I can remember seeing the dudes who were really, like, Richard Wood, right?
Yeah.
Do you know Richard Wood? So he
Yeah. Oh,
was
yeah.
that guy. I saw him at a lip sync at our hall, right, at our community hall, and he
Mhm.
did full Beat It, like full all Michael
Wow.
Jackson dance, and, we're like, "Oh, we got tennis rackets for guitars, and we're gonna do a lip sync," right? Like, I think it was like, I don't know if it was like Motley Crue or something like that, but all of a sudden you just see the and you're like, "Oh my god." So, like, I think I was not that. I knew I wasn't that. I was more, about writing the things down. I like that was my big thing.
Mm,
I have always been writing things down.
gotcha.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, that leads nicely into my next question because, like, there's lots of artists, myself included, who think of their art practice, like the creation part, as the thing that really drives them. and performing or showing the work is something totally different and sometimes separate. But I get the feeling from you, and maybe I'm wrong, that the creation and the performance of an idea are actually more like closely tied, and that you're always thinking of the end goal when developing an idea.
I think I think that I am definitely a process-oriented person on how I do
Mm.
things, but I think for me, my my strength and weakness or whatever is like the end product for me actually it doesn't have to be perfect. And I think like that's what like there's people I know that especially for music writing, there's technical people I know that have written one song because
Mm.
they just think it going to the G after that chord would be too obvious, and it's like, oh, all of my songs are obvious. That you know what I mean? Like, but I've
Yeah.
written, I've eh, it, it's between 300 and 400 songs I've written. But
Mhm.
it's over 300, but I don't know. I can't count if it gets over 400. But like my processes for doing those, it's become relatively the same. I call it rye chording, where I write the song at the same time as recording it because I've always
Mm.
had like I'm in my home studio,
Right.
right?
Yeah.
So I've always had a thing where playing the music live didn't matter as much as like I just want to make a cool album. You know what I mean? Like I want to like
Mhm.
record things. So yeah, the finished product, I think probably my criticism would be that I don't polish things. I just like
Right.
it's like no, I'm gonna
Yeah.
like I got another one. Like we could do that later. Someone else can do that.
Right.
Because I want to create it. I want to be there. I'm so good at beginnings. You know, I'm like, oh
Oh,
my
yeah.
god, I'm like, the amount of people where the amount of people where I'm like, oh no, I'm like, this is a really good first impression I'm making. I'm not gonna be able to say. I'm not like they're gonna be so disappointed that I'm never gonna see them again. Ugh, that sucks. Really sucks. Yeah.
So, with all the different, like, forms of art that you've been doing, like, I mean, songwriting and performing music, shooting film, acting, screen, and stages, like, the list goes on. Is there a specific medium of creativity or performing art that you find most fulfilling?
Um, so for the longest time, for like, I don't know, maybe 3 years now, when I do stand-up comedy, my end bit is I'll just like kind of non sequitur go, have you ever tried cocaine? And then well, I'll do it for you because did you know that Coca-Cola used to have cocaine in it? Um, did you know that cocaine used to have cocaine in it? Doesn't anymore, kids. You should be safe. I've never tried cocaine in my life. I think that says a lot about who I am. You want to know my favorite drug? It's making folks like you laugh.
There you
So
go.
thanks for giving this old junkie his fix.
Aw.
My name is Mickey Acorn, and other drugs are good too. Uh, so no, I think as a drug, stand-up comedy is the closest thing that a writer gets to the closest thing to being a painter because like
Mm.
I have so much jealousy and anima. No, I'm so envious of painters. I'm just like it's sickening. You can make the real world. You can make things look like the world. That's witchcraft to me. Like really, I don't. Yeah. So for me, that stand up is like that's the only time as a writer where you get to do something and get like an immediate reaction. And if
Mm.
you don't get the reaction, well, you got to go back and decide if you want to write that joke better. Because I thought it
Yeah.
was funny once, you know what I mean? Like, and yeah. So for that, for that instant gratification, stand up comedy is definitely it. But I
Mm.
think for like a longer, more rewarding thing, I love kind of long form like concept stuff. Like, I have Dear Lucy, a zombie folk rock opera, right? Which is
Mm-hmm.
a mix of like 11 songs, uh, uh, a PowerPoint presentation by an evil scientist. But it all came from one song I did. I was recording and I thought, oh, I wrote the song about how a guy felt bad that his girlfriend turned into a zombie. And then the next week I had time. I did part two. So like I did the same process for each song, but I kind of thought, okay, so where's this dude going? And then about on the eighth song is when I realized, oh my God, the scientist is giving a presentation kind of thing, right? So it was
Mm-hmm.
like I thought it was just going to be a concept CD, but it was just like there was so much more to be able to tell. And I'm like, yeah, I'm going to write a script. I want like to go back to like playwright Mickey,
Mm-hmm.
which I I find it hard to write a play if nobody's going to do it. That's
Yeah.
that's my problem. I wrote three like subversive fairy tales in Vancouver and then switched over to screenplays basically because
Mm,
same amount of time. Um,
right.
yeah,
Yeah.
yeah,
Yeah, so comedy. You've always done like a lot of your work has been very comedic, I
yeah.
find. And now just over the last couple of days I was watching some of your YouTube videos and there was one that I think I'd seen before, but I can't remember. It was from 9 or 10 years ago. It was for your song In Case There's a Next Time, You Were All Right by Me,
Oh, okay.
which is such a sweet song, but the video is like
That's
it
IKEA.
was
That's
such a cool
IKEA.
video. Yeah,
Yeah,
it's
yeah,
you
yeah,
and
yeah,
IKEA,
yeah,
and you're just this guy who's, like, hanging around, and you're, like,
yeah,
opening up, kitchen drawers and,
yeah,
like,
yeah.
sleeping on the beds and stuff like that. And it's serious, like, is you're not I don't trying to perform comedically or anything like that, and the song is quite endearing and sweet, but what struck me as I watched it, seeing you in, lots of different comedic ways, I was laughing through the whole thing because just the way you were doing it, I was like,
Yeah.
okay, so, like, the question is, is it ever hard to get a more serious performance through to an audience as someone who has so much content that's funny out there?
Thank you. That's very nice to hear. I mean, I think for me, like that video, your reaction is exactly what I wanted of that, right?
Yeah,
Like the
yeah,
like the kind of the weird patheticness of this guy is like, you know what I mean? Like that's kind of,
yeah.
and so yeah, that's exactly what I want. I think that um, you know, I think that comedy can be so much harder than like a dramatic thing to do, but it depends on like, it's like playing an insane guy, like that's pretty easy because you get to go 100%, but like um
Right.
like lower end energy, which I still don't know how to do that half the time. Half my auditions as like a commercial actor was like the casting director saying like just a little less, you know? I'm like, "Okay, okay, okay." It's like, because I'm coming from theater, right? So I'm like, "Hey, da,
Yeah.
da, da." But no, TV is you gotta be a robot. You gotta be a sociopath robot for TV. Um, don't move. Yeah. So,
Right.
oh, did I answer that?
Yeah, I think so, yeah, and I mean, obviously, what you were trying to do with that video is exactly what
Yeah,
I got out of
I'm
it,
glad, I'm
was that
glad. Yeah,
you
yeah, yeah.
you were kind of awkwardly funny in a serious kind of way,
Yeah.
and, yeah, anyway.
It turns out that's how people like in stand up, this is a kind of really thing for me that was weird. So I'd be going into open mics and I'm going an hour to Tokyo for 4 minutes, right? So I am
Mm,
jamming, like I would be jamming jokes just like, and it became this kind of thing where I was like, the kind of like the manic, quick, rapid fire thing. But there's this whole kind of, I don't know, there's like there's a type of stand-up person who that is like the worst kind of stand-up, that like higher
mm,
energy is like they shut off kind of thing. They don't respond to it. So lately I started to be kind of more in the vein of that IKEA guy, like more like a pathetic kind of slower tempo. People love it. So I do, so people want to see me fail. They want to see me be, you know what I mean? They don't want to see me
Yeah.
smile. So I get it. I get it. So, but yeah, it was really interesting to come to terms with that because I think doing sketch, when I did sketch, it's like, everybody, you're a different person every time, so everything's big and
Yeah.
and it's live and all that. So yeah, I found that interesting. So like, one guy's like, "You remind me of Robin Williams," and then I was like, "Oh, did I?" Did I want that? I guess that's good. Like, I mean, yeah, I think that's a good, yeah. Anyway, yeah.
Yeah. Now, this might be a stupid question, but when you do stand up in Tokyo, do you perform in Japanese?
There is, but I have never done it. No, I've never
Yeah.
done it. Yeah, just timing wise, it's kind of more niche. So just the times when you actually can go do it are pretty rare for me to be able to do. The English is
Yeah.
the mainstay because it's all tourists mostly.
Right. Yeah, yeah. I
Japanese
would think it
people.
would be difficult to maybe translate a joke into a different language, but
Yeah, yeah. Also, yeah, it's the whole just cultural stuff. The stuff that's funny for Japanese people is
right.
different too. So like a lot of times Japanese crowds it'll feel like a TED talk where even you say like
Mm.
the funny like pathetic punchline and they're like, oh, I see. Like they're just taking it in,
Right.
So it's like, no, I'm saying that was a joke. That was a joke. Yeah. So it's kind of that. Yeah.
Right. How long have you been living in Japan?
18 years. It's crazy, yeah.
Ooh.
It was 6 in Vancouver and then 18 here. I came here for 1 year. Yeah.
I was gonna ask what brought you there in
Yeah,
the
yeah,
first
yeah. I
place.
was just I was just coming like I was like, "Okay, I think I'm done at Vancouver." And I'm like, let's go, you know, pay off one loan for a year and see what to do." And
Mhm.
then oop, what the heck?
Like, did you find any differences when you moved there in regards to how you could be an artist there, like how you could perform and get your stuff out?
Yeah, I think in Japan there are kind of like pockets of just lots of musicians. So there was like a kind of like I don't know. Japan was like economically prospering until like 96 or 97. They call it the bubble and
Mm.
all that. So like there's a whole kind of generation that grew in Japan this culture of like you have a band and now there are like really good practice studios popping up. And then there are these
Yeah.
like they call them live houses. So where you go play, it's called a live house. So
Mm.
there's live houses popping up, and it's kind of like the way I describe it is like it's going skiing, right? Because like you go to the practice room, once a week for your practice. But then when you have your show, it's like there's quota systems where like you probably just paid them money to play, and
Yeah.
that's been going on
Mhm.
here forever. I know it's probably creeping in everywhere, but like I get the accountability of like, hey, don't come play here if you can't bring 20 people. That what I mean? I get that. Like I wouldn't go do
Sure.
those
Yeah.
shows. But
Yeah.
anyway, there's a whole kind of just all these pockets of really good musicians, and everybody's kind of just playing, sometimes just for the other musicians, right? It's like the all ages show. It's like that kind of feel, but I'm talking like
Yeah.
if you go out on a Friday night, there's probably 500 of those around, like in
Yeah.
Tokyo, of like these pockets. So I could play music every night of the week if I really wanted to.
Mm.
And it gets, uh, there's no money. That's the big
Yeah.
part. Like at least,
It
at
kinda
least
sounds like Charlottetown in the late '90s, early 2000s.
sure, but at least there were doors, that like, like
Yeah.
you get to get the
Yeah.
door or whatever, right? Or like in Vancouver, they'd like maybe give you like a percentage of the bar or whatever even, but like, yeah.
Mm-hmm.
So the places that people I hang out with and play music with, they don't like any of that quota system, and we've all kind of worked out where we can like play, and then basically like a a label was formed called Send City Records, where we all basically just like, we're the older guys, right? We're the stewards of the scene now. So like we're all like trying to like cook up all these bands, and there's so many bands. There's like, you know,
Yeah.
there's one guy one of my best friends, he's in like 7 bands and plays bass because there's just that many people creating the songs. There's so many songwriters.
Mm.
Um and yeah, we had our like, I called it our church, but it was a bar owned by a couple who were actually in my band for a long time, but she passed away from
Mm.
cancer. And so, but that was our Baba's kind of thing. Like that was our
Right. Yeah.
our place where like just like lots of stuff and in incubation, like that the lady I was
Mm-hmm.
talking about, she would like, a guy would come in like, yeah, I wrote this song, and she'd be like, okay, call up a bass player, call up a guitarist, and like literally form a band around this guy who just said he wrote a few songs, right? And like it's
Yeah.
crazy how many like bands came out of that. Her name is Chisuzu.
Yeah.
And yeah, she was incredible.
Cool. Yeah, there's been a few times that that kind of thing has come up on this podcast where people are talking about the venues that really support artists and the things like the open mic nights where people are meeting their future bandmates and they're starting bands and it's such a collaborative, creative atmosphere.
Yeah, absolutely.
So helpful. Now that you've created a lot of content over the years, do you ever think about like the life of that work living on? Your legacy, really.
Yeah, I mean, I think the like paranoid little Mickey, that's the whole reason I started it. Like I'm like that guy, I gotta log this, I gotta tell the story and write the story and all that stuff, right? So yeah, I do think about that. And I also just think about how, like the inactive just the inactive things. Like I have, some scripts that like, if somebody, like I'm too all over the place to like to be that person, you know what I mean? But like you know, literary agent, that kind of thing.
Right.
Because eventually, some of the scripts I do have, like screenplays, I should say, right? Movie scripts. I think like, there's a cycle, there's a cycle, and there's gonna be like, "Oh,
Mhm.
zombies are coming back, okay,"
Yeah.
plug that in, or like, "Oh god, like, yeah." So, that's what I feel one of the kind of, non-completely horrible parts of AI is that, like, for indexing and things like that, I could see
Mhm.
it being, like, a pretty good tool for like, what do they call that? The corpus, Like, if you're, like, trying to put your
Yeah.
your whole binder of everything together, something that can code through, go through all that.
Yeah.
That's,
Yeah.
like, the one thing I can think of positive around the whole AI thing. The
Totally.
rest of it is
Yeah.
a burning thing, yeah. A turd bird.
Dirt.
Yeah,
Dirt.
yeah. Yeah, yeah, yeah. Flaming, yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. I was wondering, I did have a question here of like, did you have any idea, even back, when we were at UPEI, did you have any idea what the future would hold for you as far as opportunities to express yourself to audiences? Knowing that the internet was in its infancy, really at that stage, and smartphones were not around. Like, did you have any concept of how you would share yourself?
No, I mean, it's not really. I mean, I guess, like, if I was to go back to, like, like, the big dreams and all that, like, I would have taken over for Conan eventually, or that
Yeah.
that, like,
Right.
that kinda thing, right? But, I think, like, I think the big one is just, like, I'm in this room that, like, since I was a kid, I knew I was going to have a room where I was making music in my house. Because I
Yeah.
had a basement, like, my father's band practiced in our basement, right? So we had a PA and a drum set
Mm.
just there all the time.
Oh,
So
amazing.
yeah, yeah, that's like a the really lucky thing, like I get to call a girl up, and be like, "Oh, sorry, I can't hear you. My dad's band's practicing. Oh, hey, so, by the way, Um, but yeah, so I think I always had that I was gonna be like, but at the same time, I never once tried or thought I would quote unquote make it as a musician, but
Mm.
I did wanna make it as an actor or a writer, you know what I mean? So, like,
Yeah.
that's my
Yeah.
big thing, and I remember I was in Nashville. It was 10:30 in the morning, and I saw, like, a eight-piece Western swing band play, and they were, like, all the greatest musicians in the world,
Yeah.
and I remember thinking to myself, "Thank God you picked, like, performing and not music, because look at these guys, like, they're playing for tips at 10:30." In
Yeah. Yeah.
the Hollywood of that music kinda thing, right? That's like
Mhm.
yeah, that's how much it takes, so, yeah, always knew music was my church, but yeah, like, the idea and the kind of new idea that, oh, like, I'm doing stand-up and stuff like that, um,
Mhm.
kinda like, well, yeah, who knows, like, what kind of fruition could come out of it, even if it was just, like, getting writing credit, right? You know what I mean? Not
Yeah.
exploding, not getting a Netflix special, but like, selling a script to Netflix or something like that and saying like I
Mm.
don't yeah.
Yeah. One thing that's come up on this podcast a few times is that the word artist seems to mean something different to different people. For some people, it doesn't seem to make sense for them, even though they've been creatively engaged in an art
Mhm.
process in some form or another throughout their whole lives. Do you consider yourself an artist?
Maybe I don't. I think I consider myself a writer. I think that's kind of how like,
Mhm.
I would
Mhm.
self-identify, um, that like, yeah, like the core and I guess a writer is an artist, you know what I mean? But I guess I just
Yeah.
I would, yeah, maybe I think half of that is that people are humble. An artist
Yeah, totally.
sounds like
Yeah.
it has this like, "You gotta prove now." No. "Oh, yeah? You're an artist, are you?" You know what I mean? Like, yeah, like, I'm
Yeah,
gonna get
true.
audited by the by the art police, Yeah.
Yeah. Well, I think a lot of people think of art as visual art, paintings and stuff like
Yeah.
that, and they don't really think that applies to them. But it's really interesting to explore what the word art really is because it's just so many different things. And I think it's just, thinking creatively and being creative about how you do things and using artistic inspiration to move through your days. And so in that way, everyone's an artist, really,
Yeah,
probably.
yeah, yeah, I and I think that's like, I mean, even the whole joke of, like, teaching little kids, like, right? It's just a 50-minute performance, It's like
Yeah.
so there's always these, like, crossovers or tie-ins with, like, the skills, but that's why
Yeah.
I mean, that's why I just absolutely admire anybody who figured out a process, Like,
Yeah.
I do a thing, I teach, like, kids between, like, 2 and 12 kinda thing, right? Just I
Hmm.
different classes, after school program kind of English lessons things, right? So what I do is I buy, like, bunch of empty, like, solid canvas, and I just give them to the kids,
Yeah.
like and they're like, "Well, what do we do with that?" I'm like, Don't ask me." Like, I don't know. Like, why? What you
Yes.
just do that. And they come back, and some of them, it's like, it's just line crayon. Some of them, oh my god, they get
Mm.
into paint, and it's like a beautiful sunflower. So it's like, you just
Yeah.
like, I think that's the coolest part, if you ask me what the meaning of life is, I'd say to create, like, that's the first thing the universe
Yeah.
did. It blew up, and it created, and so maybe that's a good thing to
Yeah.
start with for, the meaning of life and all that.
Yeah. Which is also a whole different podcast. But
Yeah.
I think that's great that you just kinda put something in front of the kids and they're like, "Do it,"
Yeah.
without, like, any because so many people need or think that they need some kind of direction because they think that they're supposed to do something specific, but you're
Yeah.
not. You're
Yeah.
just supposed to figure it out or just do it.
Right, yeah, just do it, and, I heard this, like, recently, but, like, how did it go? Like, embarrassment is just a new feeling or something like that, like that
Yeah.
embarrassment is just like the frontier of like, yeah, like you're not going to be as embarrassed the next time, you know. Like
Yeah.
there's nothing like bombing doing stand up, like, like
I can
it's
imagine.
just
Yeah.
like, as the other is the drug, it's just like it's the worst, like, but at the same time, what you should do is like just think like, like what did I do wrong, right? How can I make that better the next time? So yeah. So that's a nice
Yeah.
process. I like that.
So if people are listening to this and they're like, "This guy sounds super fun and cool. How can I watch him on screen?" Where would you suggest people go to see your work?
So the big one is now the TikTok. So I'm not
Right.
so it's 2023, and I start a project called Talk where I basically wrote 122 roughly 1-minute songs in 1 year,
Yeah.
of all different genres and all that. My first thing was I just wanted to make 15-second songs like TikTok uses. But
Mhm.
DistroKid needs everything on an album to be a minute on average, so I had to make them 1-minute songs. So they turned it. Bunch of them are just stupid, and some of them are actually like, wow. But I get angry when
Mhm.
someone says, "You should make that into a real song," right? I'm like, "What do you mean? It's a
Oof.
1-minute
Come
song."
on.
Yeah, yeah. Like when that guy said, "So do you only do parody songs?" What the what? Anyway, so I did that, right? It was a DistroKid, and then all of a sudden they had this like TikTok partnership where I got like kind of like early access. I got this like artist account on TikTok. Look, I'm an artist. Um,
Mm.
and because of that, I was allowed to do lives, TikTok lives, really, or
Mm.
like with no followers. It was confusing for a lot of people why. Like they're like, why are you allowed to do this? Like, anyway. So I I basically the core of what I do is I sing the comments and I make up like I massage the comments into songs.
Ah.
And
Yeah.
for a long time, for like 2 hours. Like it's good. It's yeah, I just finished a session. But that's been like the weirdest kind of like just, like I started to really focus on the sing comments because it was working so well. Like, and I got like
Yeah.
8,000 followers within like a month or something like that. So that's been a really weird kind of ride, especially just like how mean everyone is. But you know what I mean? Just like just like realizing how humanity is and what they will type to a stranger on TikTok is,
Yeah.
oh my god. Like one of my jokes I say to them is like, you shouldn't type that because the AI is gonna put you in a camp in 2 years because it doesn't know you're being like, like they're literally writing
Right.
crimes, right? They're typing crimes because they
Yeah.
think it's gonna be funny that I'll sing it, you know? Or
Right.
people's names that make it sound like it's the N word. That's the other yeah. Those are the bombs on the
Wow.
road, the journey I'm on. Yeah, yeah. Uh,
Wow.
but anyway, yeah, TikTok, that's where you could see that stuff. And also, I make stupid videos because I've got all those songs. So I yeah,
Right.
keep, turning it out. But yeah.
Cool. Yeah. But there's also quite a bit of stuff on YouTube. You
Yeah,
can go back
yeah,
and
yeah.
watch videos. Sweet. Well, those are all the questions that I have written down for you. Is there anything that you would want to explore while we're on this call?
Yeah, I got like questions for you, I guess. Like it's got to be so amazing to hear everybody's different like especially, it's a lot of islanders but like upbringings and different histories and generations too. Like
Yeah.
what are some of the things that you were kind of like, "Oh, this is like are there generational opinions on like process and art or anything like that?"
No, well,
None.
that's the
Okay.
thing. Like, there's different, when I talk to Janet McClellan, who's, 80 something now or something, and she, taught me art when I was a little kid, like obviously she had different kind of opinions of how to be an artist, back in the 50s and
Yeah,
60s.
okay, right, yeah.
But really when it comes down to like how people are making art and why, it's the same things across the board, people are figuring out a way similar processes, and similar ideas about what art means, which is really cool.
And what do you think is the the kind of overall one line that seems to go through the through line for everybody? Is it that process searching?
It's more of a just do it sort
Okay,
of
oh, good, good,
a thing. Like, don't worry about it, just do it. Find a way to do it.
good. Yeah,
That seems to be the overarching
yeah,
theme.
yeah,
Yeah,
yeah. I think that's the, uh, like I said, like if you can get in your head or get too technical, and then you're just like stopping yourself from. I think that's like
yeah.
a weird thing of improv. Like when if you've studied improv or if you've ever done improv, it's so useful in life. It's just such a weird.
100%.
It's such a
Yep,
weird thing that it's not like we're not role playing enough, I guess is what I'm saying. You know what I mean? Like it
definitely.
seems
Yeah,
like, yeah, like I have no idea how I would be if I didn't have, if I didn't get to play other people to figure out who
totally.
I am, right? Oh,
Yeah.
anyway.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. And just the experience of being on stages in front of people is, like, invaluable because it just teaches you how to react, and also how to just present yourself, I don't know, to the world,
Yeah.
in weird situations when you're being super vulnerable and you're offering something up that, is new and no one's ever seen before. Like,
Yeah. Yeah,
so wild.
yeah, yeah, yeah. I mean, this is like, teaching kids, right? Like it's amazing the kids who like just put so much pressure on themselves. There's no pa it's not like, you know what I mean? It's like not anybody but
Yep.
them, and you're just like, "Wow, you are intense," Like that's
Yeah.
but it's like, I'm just like, I'm not gonna tell you not to be intense. I'm just gonna help you like maneuver through this, like
Yep.
the
Yep.
world kind of thing, right? Ugh.
Yeah. Yeah. But what a great, exercise to learn how to think outside the box
Yeah,
and figure out how you're gonna do something without anybody telling you, right? Like,
yeah.
those are life lessons. Cool. Well, this was great. Thanks so much,
Yeah, thank
and,
you for having me. Again, I'm honored to be on the list of all these names.
we'll hopefully get, all of the cast of A Midsummer Night's Dream from 1999 or whatever it
Yeah,
was
yes.
on here. I've already
Oh.
had Dennis, and
Oh, yeah, yeah,
I can't remember who
the
else
Rude
was in that.
Mechanicals, right? Yeah, the the
Rude Mechanicals, yeah.
yeah, yeah. Oh my god, yeah, that's guy, you just reminded me that, like, there's me doing, like, a bottom speech in a living room on YouTube. There's just this random,
It's
you could hear Peter and Todd McLean laughing in the back, but it's just like, I don't even know, it's not that year, I don't think. Like, I don't know. It's that thing of, like, you find footage, but then you don't know what year the footage was, and then,
yeah,
so
yeah.
it's uploaded and all that, but yeah, who knows? Anyway, thank you so much for having me.
Thanks, Mickey. Cheers.
It's nothing and everything. It's a gentle sigh and a scream into the void. It can leave you. It can be you if you let it. You don't know what to do and you don't know what to say. Forget all that. Start anyway. Spark that fire and build it high and watch it burn. Then let it die. It can make you cry. It can dry your eyes. It can be the one that keeps you warm inside, and it breaks your heart, then tells you where to start if you let it. You don't know what to do, and you don't know what to say. Forget all that. Start anyway. Spark that fire, then build it high. Watch it burn and let it die. It can make you stand up, make you fly. It's a lifetime. In the blink of an eye, it's obsession and objection to the status quo. You got a lot to do, and you got a lot to say. Just write it out, get it on the page. Find your crew, get mobilized, and maybe soon you'll realize that it's nothing and everything. It's a gentle sigh and a scream into the void. It can leave you, it can be you if you let it.